She said, "Do not wait up, babe. I am with my sister tonight while I was having dinner with her sister. My girlfriend Claire texted me tonight saying she was staying at her sister's place because a photography project ran late. The problem is that when she sent that text, I was sitting across from her sister at dinner. I am Alex, 31, architect in Portland. Claire and I have been together almost 4 years. She is a freelance photographer and stylist, creative but financially unstable. She has lived in my Pearl District condo for 3 years rent-free because I wanted to support her career dreams. Tonight was supposed to be casual. My best friend Mason, Claire's sister Tess, and I grabbed dinner at an Italian place downtown. Tess works in marketing, super logical and grounded. We were 40 minutes into dinner when my phone buzzed with Claire's text. "Hey babe, project ran late. I am staying at Tess's tonight. Don't wait up. Love you." I looked up at Tess, who was mid-sentence about some marketing campaign. I turned my phone around and showed them. Tess went completely still. "That is weird. I haven't seen Claire in almost 3 weeks." The table went silent. My brain tried to process this logically, but there was no logical explanation. I replied to Claire. "Cool, tell Tess," I said hi. Then I put my phone face down on the table. Seconds later, Tess's phone exploded with calls from Claire, call after call. Then the text started flooding in. "Why did you tell him? You promised you wouldn't ruin this. I cannot believe you did this to me." Tess turned her phone so I could see, her face pale and confused. "Alex, I swear, I don't know what she is talking about. I haven't promised her anything." I believed her. This wasn't a conspiracy. This was Claire panicking because her lie had just detonated in real time. I picked my phone back up. 43 missed calls. Texts coming so fast they pushed each other up the screen. "It is not what you think. Eli is just a client. You are overreacting." Eli, that name hit me like cold water. Eli Kane, Claire's ex-boyfriend from college. 8 months ago, she told me he had contacted her about a photography collaboration. She said it was purely professional. I trusted her. I opened my banking app right there at the table. I had given Claire a secondary card on my account for business expenses. I scrolled through recent charges, the Benson Hotel, multiple times, a jewelry boutique, $1,600, restaurants I had never been to with her. I took screenshots of everything, the texts, the calls, Tess's phone, my bank statements, uploaded them all to cloud storage while Mason and Tess sat in stunned silence. Then I stood up, left money for dinner, and told them I needed to go. The walk back to my condo took 25 minutes in the Portland drizzle. By the time I got home, there were over 60 text messages. I sat in my car just breathing. The pattern was too clear. The lie, Eli's name, the hotel charges, the panic. I went upstairs to my empty condo, packed some of Claire's things into a box, changed all my passwords and banking access, sent one text, "We will talk when you are ready to be honest. Until then, your things are packed. The door code has been changed." Then I turned off my phone and sat in the dark. The worst part isn't even the cheating. It is that she texted me that lie while I was sitting with her sister, someone who would obviously know she was lying. She was that confident I wouldn't find out, or maybe that deep into whatever she was doing with Eli that she couldn't keep her stories straight anymore. I don't know what I am looking for by posting this. Validation, maybe? I keep replaying Tess's face when she saw that text. The way Claire's messages shifted from sweet girlfriend to desperate manipulation in seconds. 4 years together, 3 living together, and I didn't know her at all. Update 1, Friday morning. I woke up to another flood of messages from Claire cycling through tactics. Apologies mixed with accusations. "I am sorry, but you are being controlling. I love you, but you never trusted me." I didn't respond. Spent Friday at work barely functioning, trying to focus on deadlines. Mason texted to check in. Tess sent a long apology saying their parents were furious with Claire. Apparently Claire had called their mom crying about how I had thrown her out without warning, conveniently leaving out the lying part. I got home around 6 and found Claire sitting on my couch. She would somehow gotten past building security by claiming an emergency. She looked awful, makeup smeared, same clothes from 2 days ago. "We need to talk," she said. I stayed by the door. "You broke into my apartment. It is my home too, Alex. You cannot just kick me out." I kept my voice steady. "You stay here. My name is on the lease. the mortgage, every utility bill. You are a guest. That invitation expired. She started crying, the loud, dramatic kind. When she realized I wasn't moving, she switched tactics. Eli is a business investor. The meeting ran late, and I didn't want you to get jealous, so I simplified and said I was at Tess's. That is all it was. Which studio did you shoot at? Who ran the session? Receipt. I paid cash for a multi-hour studio rental. Try again. Before she could answer, her phone rang on the couch. We both looked at the screen. Caller ID, Eli, studio project. Claire lunged for it, but I was closer. I picked it up and pressed speaker before she could stop me. Eli's voice came through casual and relaxed. Hey beautiful, still playing house with the boyfriend? Or should I book us the usual room at the Benson tonight? I am thinking we finally tell him this weekend. You have been stalling long enough. The silence was absolute. I watched Claire's face drain of color. He is joking, she finally managed. Eli has a weird sense of humor. He is always. I ended the call. Number, you are done. You have 2 hours to pack whatever you need. The rest, Tess will coordinate pickup later. She stood up, tears gone, replaced with something colder. You cannot do this. I have rights. You have been here as my guest with no lease agreement and no financial contribution for 3 years. Legally, you are not a tenant. This isn't an eviction. It is me ending our relationship and asking you to leave my private property. 2 hours or I am calling police for trespassing. I had looked all this up Friday during lunch. Oregon tenant law is specific. She had no claim. The next 2 hours were tense. She packed, slamming drawers and muttering about how controlling I was, how Eli actually understood her art. I stayed in the living room, making sure she didn't take or damage anything. At one point, she called her mother on speaker, expecting backup. Mrs. Monroe's voice. Claire, honey, if what Tess told us is true, you made your choices. We raised you better than this. Claire threw her phone across the room, finished packing in silence. 3 large bags, 2 boxes. I helped her carry them to her car just to make sure she left. Before getting in, she turned to me, you will regret this. Everyone's going to know what kind of person you really are. I closed her car door and walked back inside, changed the locks that night, called the building manager Saturday to remove her from guest lists. Mason came over with pizza. Tess texted asking if I was okay. The speakerphone moment keeps replaying. Eli casually talking about playing house with me like I was just an inconvenient obstacle. Claire's face when her story disintegrated again, exactly like at the restaurant. How close I came to never knowing. I called my bank Monday about those charges on my card. The Benson Hotel, that jewelry boutique. I need to know the scope of this. How long, how much, how deep the lies went. I am not heartbroken yet, mostly angry and tired. The heartbreak will probably come later, for now focusing on practical stuff, changing passwords, updating emergency contacts, figuring out what to do with the ring I had bought 3 months ago, sitting in my sock drawer that she never knew about. Update 2: last Monday she started posting on social media, Instagram stories, Facebook posts, spinning a narrative that I was a controlling, jealous partner who threw her out without warning. Healing from toxicity. Never let anyone dim your light. Inspirational survivor content with artsy black and white selfies. Mutual friends reached out confused. Some bought her story initially. My silence looked like maybe she had a point. A few sent messages basically telling me to reflect on my jealousy issues. I didn't engage. Then Tuesday afternoon, Tess and Mason apparently decided they had had enough. They posted a photo from that Thursday night dinner. All 3 of us at the table. Timestamp visible. Mason's caption, she said she was here. Tess shared it adding, truth has a way of coming out. Sometimes it happens over pasta. The response was immediate. Claire's story fell apart in the comments. She deleted her posts within an hour, but screenshots were circulating. People who would initially supported her publicly apologized to me. I felt exhausted more than vindicated. But Claire wasn't done. Wednesday morning, my property manager called. Claire had contacted him claiming illegal eviction, wanting to file a complaint. He sighed and said only my name was on the lease. No record of rental payments from her. Nothing. He told her there was no case. Then Thursday, HR at my office called. Someone claiming to be a consultant had contacted them to report harassment and workplace misconduct by me. The HR director recognized it as personal drama immediately. I showed her the screenshots from dinner, the text exchanges, everything. She documented it and blocked Claire's number from the company directory. "This happens more often than you would think after breakups," she told me. "People get desperate to control the narrative." That afternoon, I finally went through my bank statements thoroughly. That secondary card I had given Claire for business expenses. I had canceled it Friday night, but I wanted full accounting. The Benson Hotel, $642. A jewelry boutique, $1,618. Various restaurants and shopping, another $1,000 spread over weeks. None of it was for business, none with my knowledge. I filed a fraud report with my bank, providing evidence these were unauthorized personal charges. The agent said they would investigate and likely refund most of it. Saturday afternoon, I was working from home when building security called. Claire was in the lobby screaming about stolen money and demanding to speak to me. The desk attendant sounded genuinely alarmed. I told him not to let her up, that I had called police if necessary. I went down to handle it myself. The scene was worse than I had imagined. Claire in full meltdown, crying and yelling that I had canceled her card and reported her to the bank, that I was trying to ruin her life. Several residents were watching Claire. "You need to leave. Now, you stole my money. That card was mine. You gave it to me. I gave you access for specific business purposes. You used it to fund hotel rooms with your affair partner. That is fraud. The bank agrees." She lunged toward me, getting in my space, still screaming. The desk attendant stepped between us and firmly asked her to leave. When she refused, he called police. 2 officers arrived within 10 minutes, listened to both sides, checked IDs, confirmed I lived there and she didn't, and issued her a formal warning for disturbance. As they walked her out, one officer pulled me aside. "Get a restraining order if she keeps this up. Document everything. People don't usually de-escalate from this kind of behavior on their own." My hands were shaking when I got back upstairs. Not from fear, but from the adrenaline and the surreal nature of watching someone I had loved completely unravel in a building lobby. Mason came over that night with Thai food. "She is imploding," he said. "This isn't about you anymore. This is about her realizing she destroyed something real for something that was probably never going to last." Sunday, Tess called. She had had coffee with their father, Mr. Monroe, and filled him in on everything. He is a retired police officer. Old school values. Tess said he had been quiet through the whole explanation, then just shook his head and said, "She has embarrassed the family. I love my daughter, but I will not defend this." He had tried calling Claire to talk, but she sent him to voicemail and texted back that everyone was against her. He told Tess if Claire came to her senses she could come home, but he wouldn't enable this victim routine. I don't take pleasure in knowing Claire's family relationships are fracturing, but there is something validating about her own father seeing through her manipulation. It means I am not crazy. My read on the situation was accurate. The bank approved my fraud claim Monday morning, full refund of unauthorized charges, just over $3,000. I moved it to a separate savings account, not sure yet what to do with it. Part of me wants to donate it, wash my hands of anything connected to her. Mason did some social media reconnaissance. Apparently Eli's photography studio is under investigation for business fraud. Something about misrepresenting credentials to clients and inflating invoices. I don't know if Claire's involved or if that is separate, but the timing feels almost poetic. I am sleeping better now. The anger has settled into something more like resignation. My condo is fully mine again. I am going to therapy. Not because I am falling apart, but because I want to process this properly and not carry trust issues forward. The therapist asked me if I felt guilty about how things ended. I surprised myself by saying no. I didn't end this. I just refused to participate in a lie once I knew what it was. Some days are harder. I will see a restaurant we used to go to or hear a song that reminds me of her, and there is this pang of loss. Not for who she turned out to be, but for who I thought she was. That version of Claire, the one I fell for, maybe she never really existed. I am not ready to date, but I am okay. I am genuinely okay, and that feels like enough for now. Final update: life had mostly returned to normal. Big project at work, time with Mason and friends, gym regularly, The empty spaces in the condo didn't feel empty anymore, just different. Better. I had started thinking about redecorating, making the place fully mine. Then 3 weeks ago, I got a letter. Actual physical letter from a local attorney on behalf of Claire Monroe, demanding compensation. $5,000 for creative contributions to apartment interior design. $4,000 for emotional labor and relationship support. $3,000 for career sacrifices to support my professional success. I read it 3 times. Then I laughed. Not happy. More like when something is so absurd, you don't know what else to do. She was actually billing me for being in a relationship with her, for decorating, for existing in my space. I scanned the letter and sent it to Tess. Is she serious? Tess called immediately. Alex, I am so sorry. I didn't know she was doing this. This is insane. I told her it was fine, not her fault, but I needed advice. Tess suggested I talk to her father. Mr. Monroe had been a cop for 30 years, dealt with plenty of legal threats. I met him for coffee the next day. Solid guy, gruff but fair. I showed him the letter and watched his jaw tighten. Son, I apologize for my daughter. This is disgraceful. He handed it back. But if she is dug in this deep, you might need to be prepared to actually go to court. Don't let her bully you into settling. You have got documentation of everything. Right? I nodded. Screenshots, bank statements, text exchanges, witness statements from Tess and Mason. Everything. Good, he said. Then if she files, she will lose. And maybe losing publicly is what she needs to finally wake up. Week later, I got notice that Claire had filed a small claims suit for $12,000. Court date set for Wednesday. I spent the weekend organizing everything into a binder. Timeline of events, lease documents, utility bills. In only my name, screenshots from the dinner, credit card statements showing her unauthorized charges, written statement from Tess, confirming the timeline. Tuesday night, Mr. Monroe called. Alex. I tried talking to Claire one more time, told her to drop this before she humiliates herself in front of a judge. She hung up on me. I want you to know that if she goes through with this tomorrow, she is doing it without my support. I will be there if you need a character witness. I thanked him, told him that wouldn't be necessary. But the offer meant more than he probably knew. Wednesday morning, I showed up to the courthouse 45 minutes early. Small claims court was exactly as unglamorous as you would imagine. Fluorescent lights, uncomfortable chairs, stressed people everywhere. Claire arrived 15 minutes before our time with the lawyer who had written the demand letter. She looked different. Thinner, harder. She saw me and her expression flickered between anger and something that might have been shame. We didn't speak. When our case was called, we both stood before the judge, an older woman with sharp eyes and zero patience for nonsense. She asked Claire to present her case first. The lawyer did most of the talking, argued that Claire had made significant non-financial contributions to the household and relationship that deserved compensation, that she had sacrificed career opportunities to support me, and that I would unjustly enriched myself. It sounded almost reasonable until you remembered the cheating and lying for months. When the lawyer finished, the judge turned to Claire. Miss Monroe, did you have a rental agreement with Mr. Carter? No. But did you pay rent or contribute to utilities? No, but I contributed in other ways. Did Mr. Carter agree in writing to compensate you for interior design services or emotional labor? Claire's lawyer tried to interject. The judge held up a hand. Miss Monroe, I am asking you directly. Did you have any written agreement? No, Your Honor. The judge turned to me. Mr. Carter, your response. I opened my binder, walked her through everything. The lease showing I was sole tenant. Timeline of Claire's lies starting with the dinner text. Screenshots showing her admission about Eli. Bank statements proving she had made unauthorized charges on my credit card. Police report from when she had caused disturbance at my building. Tess's written statement confirming Claire had lied about her whereabouts. The judge flipped through pages silently. Her expression didn't change, but I watched Claire's face get paler with each document. When I finished, there was a long pause. The judge looked at Claire. Miss Monroe, you lied to your partner about your whereabouts while engaged in an affair. You made unauthorized charges on his credit card. You harassed him after the relationship ended, requiring police intervention. And now you are attempting to sue him for financial compensation for a relationship you betrayed. Is that an accurate summary? Claire's voice was barely audible. I just want what I deserve. What you deserve, the judge said slowly, is not what this court provides. Case dismissed. With prejudice, meaning you cannot refile this claim. Mr. Carter, you are free to pursue a countersuit for the credit card fraud if you choose. Though given the bank has already refunded you, I would suggest letting this go and moving forward with your life. She banged the gavel. Claire burst into tears, loud, ugly sobs echoing in the courtroom. Her lawyer looked uncomfortable, gathering papers quickly. I just stood there feeling this strange mix of relief and sadness. Not sadness for her. Exactly, sadness that it had come to this. That someone I had loved had devolved into someone trying to shake me down in small claims court. I walked out without looking back. In the hallway, Mr. Monroe was waiting. I hadn't seen him in the courtroom, but apparently he had been there in the back the whole time. That was the right outcome, he said simply. Claire's waiting by the doors. She is upset. I am going to take her home, see if I can talk some sense into her finally, but I wanted to tell you something first. He paused, looking uncomfortable in a way that made him seem older. You were good to my daughter, better than she deserved. It turns out, I am sorry for what she put you through. If you ever need anything, a reference, someone to vouch for your character, you call me. Understand? I shook his hand. Thank you, sir, that means a lot. He nodded and walked toward the exit where Claire was leaning against the wall, looking destroyed. I heard him say, "Come on, Claire, let's go home," in that firm but gentle voice fathers use when their kids have screwed up badly. That night, Mason came by with celebratory pizza. We watched basketball and argued about playoffs. Normal friend stuff. Exactly what I needed. Saturday, I used some of the refunded credit card money to buy my mom a plane ticket to visit her sister in Seattle. She had been wanting to go for months, but money was tight. When I told her why I had extra cash, she was quiet for a long moment, then said, "I am proud of how you handled this. You didn't get mean, you just told the truth." Sunday morning, having coffee on my balcony, I saw a news headline on my phone. Local photography studio under investigation for business fraud. The article mentioned Eli Kane specifically, allegations about misrepresenting credentials to corporate clients and inflating project costs. Some clients were suing. The article didn't mention Claire, but I wondered if she had been involved or if she had just picked another person with questionable ethics. I closed the article, deleted the folder on my computer titled Claire Evidence that I had been maintaining for 2 months, blocked her number, which I should have done weeks ago, unfollowed her on every social media platform. Digital housekeeping. The strangest part is how normal everything feels now. For weeks I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, for Claire to do something else dramatic. But after the judge dismissed her case, it is like whatever energy was driving her just ran out. Tess texted last week saying Claire had moved back with their parents temporarily and was seeing a therapist. I hope that is true. I hope she gets help. Not for me, but for her. For whoever she tries to date next. For her family. I don't hate her. I thought I would, but I don't. I am just done with her. There is a difference. Hate requires ongoing emotional investment. I have got none left to give her. She is just someone I used to know. Someone who taught me that trust is earned and that my instincts are worth listening to.